Hello, Rising Human Kunjin here. Part 2 of Fragment Soul, Chapter 1. Harry slept on, obviously to what was going on around him, unaware that the last time he wouldn't lay eyes on his owner had just passed. He didn't even stir as Sylvester Snape disappeared, stealing away from Cordic Hallows and changing both of their futures forever. Sylvester, however, felt all too aware of everything. He was aware that he had just made himself responsible for a small child, and he was aware that he might be followed by those who wanted the child for themselves. He disappeared again as soon as they had appeared into the fields in the middle of nowhere. He did this again and again, terrified that anyone would find them. He buried them all across England and Wales, even going across the seas to Ireland for a short while. Harry slept through it all, but Severus was becoming too tired to carry on. He didn't want to risk splinting himself or hurting the baby in his arms. He just had to hope it had been enough. It was Halloween night, and the harsh October winds, which signaled the come of the winter, were bitter against his face. As he traveled, he drew Harry close to the warmth of his body, tucking the blanket under him tighter to shield him from the elements. Still, the infant didn't even stir. The sight of the tiny child made Severus a heartache. The reality of what he had done was starting to sink in. He knew that he made the right decision, though he had to be extremely cautious. Once or twice he had passed through a town, and there was rumors everywhere, whispered that Voldemort had been killed, that their tormentor was somehow gone, and no one knew exactly why or how. Severus was all too aware that the Dark Lord's loyalty Death Eaters were so out there they would be desperate to hear of any news of certain about the whereabouts of their master. If he was caught literally holding the child that had brought about the downfall of the Lord Voldemort, then they would be killed without hesitation. Unsure of where he was going, but knowing that he had to keep moving, Severus carried on. He was in a Muggle village. That was all he could be sure of. He knew that he was somewhere in England, Yorkshire, he supposed. But it didn't really matter. He had to get out of the streets, find somewhere to rest for the night. Being out so late in the ice winter winds would not be so good for the infant, who was still sleeping deeply in his arms. He drew his cloak around them as much as he could manage, the weight of the child growing increasingly heavy the longer he held him. He knew that all of Voldemort's most loyal defenders would be searching the lengths and breadth of the country for their master. They would want answers to the question regardless of what happened. What has gone so terribly wrong? However, there was one family who he knew feared for their own child's safety more than their own lives. He wanted to escape the Dark Lord as much as he had. Sufficient wasn't sure that he could trust them for longer than a single night. But their boy was the same age as Harry. Almost Draco Malfoy had been born at the beginning of June, almost 2 whole months before Lily had gave birth. They would have had everything he needed to care for Harry. He wouldn't have to be there long at all, but he knew that they would help him. Macris and Lucius had wanted him as a godfather to Draco. He had placed and accepted the honor, vowing to protect him, and hopefully they would be able to do the same for little Harry. Someone might not understand, but he knew that Nausicaa would. He had so few options open to him that he had to take the chance. He took a deep breath, steadying himself, and with a great effort, Sylvester Snape disappeared. For the last time, the evening or so, he hoped. He just had to hope that in all of the confusion, the mouse would be left alone by the authorities, at least for one night. He needed to stop, to take a break, to take a breath, to give himself time to think. He hadn't had even a moment to form any kind of plan. He had taken Harry into his arms and decided to leave with him. He needed to work out what his next movement was, and he could do that On the run, he needed time to think everything over, or neither of them was going to survive the week. Maybe not even the day, and he couldn't even think any farther ahead than that. Not now. Then were just too many unconscious. It just wasn't safe. The whole world was dangerous, and people would be looking for them. Granted, it wasn't like they would be looking for them together. But there was one thing he was sure of. He needed to remain hidden with his newly adopted son. Okay, this is the second part of Fragment Souls. Fragment Souls. I will see you in the next one. Bye. Roman Cohesion out.